Hey everyone, welcome to another Throwback Thursday. Today we are going to be talking about Gavin Baddeley's Lucifer Rising book. Now, this book is very similar to this one that you may remember I touched on previously. The main difference is Gavin Baddeley features interviews in his book, but they are very similar because they deal with popular culture. If you want to hear more about this book, just look for the video about the second coming and Satan Wants You. Now, I thought I would share this today, largely because, well, as some of you may or may not know, and this may be important, this may not be important, it is, August, and Euronymous of Mayhem was murdered in August of 1993. So, Gavin Baddeley purports that this is basically the last ever interview that Euronymous did before he was murdered by Varg. So, in the spirit of Euronymous, I thought I would read this for everyone. An interview with Euronymous, head of Deathlike Silence Records, frontman of Mayhem. I conducted this interview with Euronymous late in 1992, several months before his feud with Count Grishnak erupted and ended his life. He was courteous and eager to talk about his odd ideas and nihilist philosophy, remaining curiously deadpan throughout the interview, even when delivering his most extreme rants. Is your music a form of worship? No, it's more an expression of feelings. Technically, we're not just trying to be horrific. Like a lot of other bands, we're trying to create this atmospheric feeling. Which Norwegian bands would you consider satanic? The only satanic bands are Mayhem, Burzum, and Darkthrone. Immortal are not satanic. They just use a lot of dark imagery. Enslaved are into ancient Norse religion, only with a kind of negative aspect to it. Emperor are interested in dark ideas and violence, but they are not Satanists. There are, of course, tons of black metal bands all over the world. The problem is they are calling themselves Satanists, but they are actually into Christianity. This is because they think Christianity is corrupt and evil. It represses people, but we think this is great. When bands are talking about how Christianity is evil and it should be stopped, these bands are preaching goodness and freedom. Therefore, I don't accept them as satanic. Could you tell me a little bit about the black metal circle or black metal militia? There are two different things here. The black metal circle is a kind of cult consisting of ourselves, Mayhem, and Darkthrone. We discuss things and try to keep the ideology clean. We are kind of brothers. We do everything for each other. If one of us gets into trouble, the whole group can help. Within the group, do you perform religious or magical ceremonies? You could say that, but mostly we talk. I cannot speak too much about it because there is quite a lot about it which is illegal. But in the black metal circle, we don't just have black metal people, we also have brutal death metal people, people who worship death and destruction. We have no problem with this because they believe in the same thing as us, but they don't have any religion. We think it's important to take care of our enemies in a certain way. These enemies are mostly Christians, but when I speak of Christians, I don't mean extreme or fundamentalist Christians. We support them 100% because they're spreading so much sorrow and oppression. They should get more money, they should get more power. We would like to see Christians going around to our houses with weapons trying to kill us. It would be great. It would be total religious war. We think that when things happen against the churches are burning, graveyards desecrated, there will be more and more extreme Christians. We think they might become extreme because they think, okay, we have an enemy. Christians today think nothing is happening. So they don't take their religion so seriously. We think when something really dark happens, these people will gather together, join forces, and blow this cosmos apart. That's great. What we hate is Christian moderates and those Christians who use their lives to help others, like Mother Teresa. That's the enemy, not the religious leaders who oppress others. Our hit lists also include organizations like the Red Cross. A lot of the death metal bands are also our enemies. Without knowing it, they are allies of Mother Teresa and her kind. They should call themselves what they really are, life metal. Do you have any aims beyond trying to bring about religious war? Myself, I have no aims. I am commanded by Satan. We are all just servants of Satan. And we don't expect anything in return. We don't expect to be rewarded with pleasure, riches, or anything. It's just horror and hell that we will receive. As to what happens to me, it doesn't matter as long as I can take as many with me as I can. Where do you take your satanic beliefs from? It's purely biblical. When we are leading our ordinary everyday lives, we try as much as possible to avoid anything which God wishes. For example, when having sex in the Bible, it says, you must not spill your seed upon the ground. It means you must not fuck, except for trying to have children. Otherwise, it is blasphemy. What could be more blasphemous than sodomizing a woman? We try to pervert what's written in the Bible as much as possible. I think if you carry on in a normal way, especially if you have children, then you are taking part in the ultimate life rituals. By creating life, you are obeying God's commands. I would like to prevent people from reproducing. People want to do it and it gives pleasure. Therefore, I have to prevent it. Imagine the sorrow you could spread if you chopped everybody's dicks off. It's impossible, but that doesn't matter. It's the idea behind it which is important. Why don't you impose the sorrow on others within the black metal sorrow? I don't care what happens to them. For example, if Fenris from Darkthrone should die, I wouldn't cry, I wouldn't go to the funeral, I wouldn't care at all. Except he is my ally and I need him. He'd say the same about me. Count Grishnak, for example, he wouldn't waste a minute killing me if I weren't an ally. He needs me and I need him. We have become very cynical. If I should have a girlfriend and she died, I wouldn't cry. I would probably screw the corpse. We try hard to avoid having human feelings. Clearly, I can't say I'm 100% pure evil. That's impossible, but we try our hardest to achieve the ultimate evil in ourselves. Is your Satanism linked to medieval beliefs? Definitely. I think in a perverted way, the tradition of Satanism is actually beautiful. The vision of a creature so evil that it is not possible for a human mind to comprehend is beautiful. Of course, if I saw him, even I would probably die from fear. I hate to hear people saying, if I saw Satan, I would laugh. I tell them to fuck off. They don't know what they're talking about. So, do you express your satanic beliefs through actions? Some of us do, some of us don't. For example, the vocalist from Dark Throne isolated himself around 150 kilometers from here. He was all by himself, as does the guitarist. I don't see the drummer because of the black metal. I only see the drummer because of the black metal circle. We have some members who are doing all sorts of things. What kind of things? I'm not sure how much I can tell you because the telephone is probably bugged. I know the Count's phone was bugged because our drummer tried to call him and he got through to the police. Have you heard about everything that's been happening up here? If people think we have done all those things that we are accused of, let them think so. If they think we haven't done them, let them think that. If we assume these accusations are true, everyone has been burning down churches, someone has stabbed some Christians. Would there be something which you approve of? Yes, I support it 100%. I think all kinds of action which are necessary for spreading sorrow are great. Many people say, for example, that desecrating churchyards is just stupid because you don't harm the Christians, but I think it's great because it can depress so many people. You go to church and find the graves desecrated or destroyed, then you're thoroughly depressed. It's a tragedy. It spreads sorrow, and I think that's important. What have you done that you could tell me about which most extreme expression of your beliefs? Myself, I don't do much. Within the black metal circle, we are broken up into smaller cells. One cell takes care of the economics, that's me. If I took part in a lot of action, I would probably be caught and the whole organization would just fall apart. I can't afford to be involved. So, there are a couple of things which I have done and cannot tell you about now. We have a kind of death squad or action group. They are taking care of action and action only. How many people would you say are in this action group? Up to 10 people, really dedicated people who don't care. They have no respect for human life at all, and they have done a lot of stuff. There's a lot of fuss about what's going on now. They're writing about us in Kerrang, for example, which is great promotion. But I don't understand why, because what we have done so far is just a tiny little piece of what's about to happen. Do you mean the battle predicted in Revelation? It's hard to say. Revelation is a very difficult gospel to understand. We'll just have to wait and see what will happen. But I think it will happen very soon. Nostradamus predicted that the world would end at the end of this century. So it should be very interesting. I think that several catastrophes will occur. Humankind will be wiped out, but some people will be left. There will be absolutely no law. It will be total anarchy, and I'm looking forward to it. We conceal ourselves. We would survive, and we would be very strong. We would have armies, an old king, stuff like that. One great thing about Norway is that with the countryside, you can hide out here forever. Why do you reject satanic churches? I think they're bullshit. For example, the Church of Satan, I see them as greater enemies than the Christians. I would say that they are intelligent people. I don't want people to be intelligent. I want dumb slaves. I think that they know why Christianity is bad, and they want to make sure Christians have no power. They say Christians are oppressing freedoms and all that shit, but I think that's great. We would love to destroy the Church of Satan because they are a power on the side of goodness. They see themselves as the good force and the Christians as the evil force. They engage in rituals trying to prove themselves that they are not enslaved by religion. I think that's blasphemy. I hereby, on behalf of the Norwegian Black Metal Circle, declare total war on the Church of Satan. If they want to establish in Norway, they are going to have problems. So there you have it. Anyway, I just thought I'd discuss that. So what is this book really about? Well, here he starts off kind of going into an overview of a history of Satanism. Then he goes into Aleister Crowley, transgender stuff, Rolling Stones, you know, really psychedelic music. Kind of a lot of Charles Manson stuff. Interviews with members of Temple Set. So I love the Nativity in Black because I'm a big fan of Coven. Right now, I am trying to actually take 2 Coven music videos and high-res them that I really like. So stay tuned to that. Unfortunately, they are so badly pixelated that I don't know how much I can really high-res them. But Black Widow is another band that I really like. Of course, there's a lot of ants on the face stuff. Gavin Baddeley is a member of the Church of Satan. So I imagine he didn't really like Euronymous talking shit about the Church of Satan. But I'm very interested in this group. I had done another video about a book by this group called The Philosopher's Stone there. So there's an interview with Donald in here. Which is pretty cool. But yeah. I was tempted to talk about Lords of Chaos because it was released around the same year as this. But I wanted to talk about this first mainly because of that interview. So I highly recommend this book. It was released in 1999. Despite that, yeah, 1999. Despite how some of the interviews are from the early 90s. So anyway, please feel free to comment, hit like and subscribe. Thank you.